everybody. Welcome to a new, very special episode of the Illuminati podcast. And today I got a very special guest, National Championship Buckeye Jamal Luke. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Hey Mika, how are you?
Good. So happy to have you on. I know we've been trying to work this out for a while now.
Yes, it's so glad to be here. I appreciate the invite and I am excited to talk some Buckeye football with you tonight.
I know I usually start the show with recruiting nuggets, but I'm going to save that till the end and get right into today is the first day of fall practice, and it's open to the fans now and everything. And I wanted to get your thoughts on that. And can we really learn anything substantial from these practices? As a player, can the coaches learn anything? Can fans learn anything? What was your experience like doing these sort of things? Do you wish your any of your practices would have been open to the fans and stuff like that? I just want to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the first day of fall camp is a lot like being a kid on Christmas Day. I mean, you finally get a chance to unwrap that present you've been working on all off season. Every time off season begins, there's something you, as a player, you take into that off season that you want to get better at. Some part of your game that you want to improve on. Some part of your strength or your speed that you want to improve on. And so this is your first opportunity to showcase that for the coaches when it counts. Spring ball is an opportunity, but there's no season that you're getting ready for. So this is the pinnacle of all the hard work of the off season coming together, and it's your first opportunity to really show it in front of the coaches. And in this case, now that it's open to the public, oftentimes you get to show it in front of the fans. And we did have open practices at times in the spring. We never had them in the fall. But in the spring, we did have some open practices that fans would come to. And that was always fun because that puts you oftentimes in game mode because you have fans. Yeah, it's not 100,000, but just having fans out there, it does something from an energy standpoint that you practice at a higher level because you want to not just impress your coaches, but you want to give the fans a good show as well. So that always heightens the competition when fans are involved.
I always like seeing the young kids get involved and get to go to these events because that just creates more fans. I know when I was a kid, I got to go to a spring game, and it's just heightened my love of football. And you remember those moments forever. And start them young, and they'll love football forever. So I think those sort of things are important, and it helps the fans and the players feel appreciated. So I think it's important to nurture that bond between fans and players and the program. And I'm glad that Lion Day is allowing fans to become more and more involved.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good thing. It's a good thing for the program and for the kids.
Um, so there's a new Protect College Sports Act that's in the midst of trying to be passed. Do you have any thoughts on that? I know it's going to supposedly limit the transfer portal, and according to our insider Buck Bader, we may have the option to not pool a revenue, but that's for more for him to cover. He's our insider, and I trust him, and he does a great job. But I wanted to pick your brain on what your thoughts are about the Protect College Sports Act.
I think it's interesting. I think there's pros and cons to it. The pros are I think there definitely should be some guidelines, some structure to not only the transfer portal but the NIL situation to kind of make it more of a level playing field, if you will. And so I think anytime you're able to to put some structure around something, it's a good thing. The con is you don't want to take away the freedom that the players currently have, because it's been long overdue for players to be able to, one, capitalize off their name, image, and likeness, but then also have the freedom to be able to go where they want to attend school and play football without being penalized the same way that coaches can if they want to get out of their contract and go to a different school. It's only right that the players have that same flexibility, as do other regular college students. If they want to, transfer academically to another institution, there's no penalty for them to do so. So you don't want to take that freedom away from the players. Me myself, having been a transfer player before there was a portal, transferring up from Division II up to Division I, when I walked on at Ohio State, I had to sit out a year. So I, in a sense, was punished because I wanted to test my abilities at the highest level. And so you never want to have a kid have to go through that. So there's pros and cons, but ultimately I think the pros will outweigh the cons, and having some structure to the portal as well as to the NIL world, I think will be a benefit in the long run for college athletics.
Yeah, I just hope that it can be enforced in a way that's fair for both sides.
Absolutely.
I think that there needs to be guardrails on everything, but make it still felt for the players. And I do see what you mean about transfers, but there were some kids that were just on their seventh and eighth schools, and that was getting a little
Exactly.
ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, you came up in the trestle era, and we all know that special teams was a big part of what he wanted to do at Ohio State, and he put major emphasis on that. And we brought in a new special team coach, Robbie Disher from Illinois, who took the Illini special teams to a whole nother level. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. And according to Podfather and uh, Chris over on the Mothership, the OHIO podcast. The special team return guys already got a nickname. It's the Dream Team, and I love hearing that. That's exciting. So, what are your thoughts on special teams, and are you glad to see the renewed emphasis put on that area of the sport? And what do you expect out of that?
Absolutely. Special teams is the backbone of a successful football team. That was one thing Coach Tress was huge on, not only from a return standpoint, but just being able to change and control field position. Coach Tress used to teach that punt was the most important play in football, and that often got laughed outside of the inner circles. But when you think about it, being able to change field positions and put your defense in an advantageous situation is actually a weapon. And so to have a focus on special teams, I think if you look at any championship football team, they have solid special teams in all three phases. And so I think it's exciting that we're putting a renewed emphasis on that aspect of the game. And it's only going to lead to more success for our program.
And let's face it, special teams in the past years have been kind of a bugaboo, so I'm glad that we're addressing it, and I'm really excited to see what the new kickers can do, what Connor Hawkins can do, the transfer from Baylor. I've heard really good things out of him, and I'm excited to see what these electric return men can do. Hopefully, we can really make some noise in that aspect and make that a big part of the game again.
Absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
that was always exciting for as a fan to watch like a big return because you really don't expect anything, and that can change the momentum of a game significantly when you can get a big play on special teams.
Yep. Yep. That's it. It's a game changer. And it only takes one special teams play to really change a whole season. You know, you can lose. There were several games in our national championship year that we won strictly due to special teams play, whether it was a key punt that put our defense in a solid position or whether it was a game winning kick. So you never want to overlook special teams and the value it brings to a championship football team.
And I know us as fans kind of chuckle at that at times because you're like, oh, I think a lot of people think that, the kickers aren't real football players and stuff like that, but they put in a lot of work too, so I want to make sure they get their flowers and everything. So, uh,
Yes, absolutely.
what are your expectations for the season? We got a tremendously tough schedule. Got a lot of young players, but a lot of returning talent and a lot of guys that showcased their stuff really well last year. Julian Say and JJ Smith, those guys are going to be called upon to be more leaders. Not that JJ wasn't a leader before, but he's really going into it and everything. What are your expectations for the season?
Well, I expect us to be right there at the end of the season, Mika. We're definitely one of the top three football teams, obviously number one in the coaches poll going into the season. But from a talent perspective, I think two of the top five teams, talent wise, are in the Big Ten when you look at us in Oregon. And so I think when it's all said and done, we're going to be right there in the mix. Now, again, what it's going to come down to isn't just the most talented team that typically wins the national championship team, but it's really the things that don't take talent. So, which team, number one, has the talent, but then also which team is going to actually play complementary football at the right moments throughout the season? Which team is the most connected? Which team is the most disciplined? Which team has the biggest why. Those are the things that's going to make the difference in whether we can get the national championship this year or not. And so we definitely have the talent on paper, and now it's about all those intangible things, and that's the beauty of this part of the season of being in fall camp because that's where you really cultivate and develop those intangibles that can lead to a national championship.
Speaking of J.J. Smith, he had some interesting comments recently. He said that thinks about winning the Bolitnikoff every day, and he feels like he should have won it in the past. And I want to get your thoughts as a competitive person. Did you look for outside things to motivate you as well, or were you more of an internal thing? And what about Ohio State? Do you think fostered that competitive spirit in you as a player? And what part of that have you taken into your daily life, if anything?
Yeah, well, I think number one, to answer the first part of your question, there's no doubt about it that J.J. Smith, I think he could have won the Bolitnikoff his first 2 years easy. Both years, he's been the top wide receiver in college football in a lot of aspects. So I have no doubt that he'll be right up there again this year. And I would be shocked if he's not the Bolitnikoff Award winner this year. But you're always looking for, as an athlete, a competitor, you're always looking for anything that can give you motivation. And oftentimes it does come outside. I know for me, it was the fact I was overlooked as an athlete. So that was kind of the chip on my shoulder, having to go to a Division II school, having to transfer, having to be a walk on, having to deal with the things that come with being a walk on of moving up and then back down on the depth chart. And so just being overlooked, that was kind of what drove me and wanting to show that I was worthy to be on the field. So you're always, as a competitor, you're always looking for that edge to drive you to do more. And I think that's something that, to answer the last part of your question, in an everyday situation, I think as I've gotten older and more mature, I don't really get driven by external chips anymore. It's more so my internal dreams, desires, and goals that I have for myself and for my family. That's what drives me these days. So it's more of an internal drive now for me than an external drive. And I think ultimately, whether it's internal or external, as long as you're being driven to be your highest self, that's what matters at the end of the day.
I just found it interesting that even a elite level athlete like JJ is still got that need for that chip on his shoulder, that need to prove himself, even though he's proved so much in the past. He still feels like he's got so much that he can do and still some stuff to. I just find that interesting how people can still strive for greatness even though we all know he's already great. So
Right.
that's always really cool to see as a fan and just makes players more relatable, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Uh, Kyle Whittingham is the new coach of Michigan, and he had some interesting comments. He said that he believes the rivalry can exist without hate, and he doesn't hate Ohio State. My personal thoughts is I don't think that was a smart thing for him to say, but I can understand that he's new and he he's not used to this level of rivalry yet, but I wanted to get your thoughts. Do you think this rivalry can exist without hate, especially given the cheating scandals in the past?
Yeah. I'm sure the folks up there probably cringed a little bit when he said that. And I think that's when you get somebody that's kind of coming from the outside, hasn't been a part of the rivalry. I don't think he fully grasped the history of the rivalry yet, and I think after a couple losses to us, it may begin to sink in for him just how important the rivalry is. But I will say that if that's his mindset coming into the rivalry, he's in for a rude awakening come November. Yeah, which is quite all right with me. If that's how they want to approach the rivalry, then we'll continue to build on last year's victory and build our string of dominance back up. And then I think he will understand pretty quickly how much this rivalry means to the fan bases and the schools.
Yeah, he's gonna get thrown into the deep end come November.
He will.
It's sink or swim time, man.
Absolutely.
It's gonna be fun.
Yes.
He done poked the bear. And that's what's funny. I don't think he was trying to poke the bear, but a lot of people took it that way. So
Right.
it's gonna be it's gonna be real fun. I
Oh yeah.
think I think we're in for a whole new chapter, and hopefully we can right the ship and get things back to where they should have been before they cheated.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
I want to thank you again for joining the show. It's an honor. I'm so glad that I got to know you and I've had a chance to talk with you outside of the show atmosphere a little bit. And you have a book out and doing great things and public speaking and just representing Buckeye Nation to the best of your ability. And I enjoy talking to you and just feel free to share anything, share your book, tell everyone where to buy it, all those sort of things.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Mika. Again, it's an honor to have gotten to know you since we did the last show, and appreciate the work you're doing for not only Buckeye Nation, but just for the entire state of Ohio, and having this podcast that's only going to continue to grow. And yeah, as far as my book, it's called Purpose Beyond the Playbook. You can purchase that at Amazon.com, or you can go to purposebeyondtheplaybook.com as well and purchase that. And that's just it's a book about my life and the principles that I've used to not only achieve my dream athletically and walking on at Ohio State and being a part of a national championship football team and what it took to accomplish that, but also those same principles that have carried over into the other areas of my life and how I apply those principles to everyday life now, and how you can take those same principles and apply those to your life and have success in whatever you're desiring to accomplish. And so this is a book that can touch everybody, whether you're a in senior management in the corporate world, whether you're an employee trying to climb up the corporate ladder, whether you're a student, whether you're an athlete, a former athlete. This book is something that you can take principles and apply to your daily life and go to that next level for yourself. And so you can, again, find that on Amazon or on purposebeyondtheplaybook.com. You can also follow me on any social media handles at JLukeYDC. Again, that's at JLukeYDC. And I look forward to connecting with you. And go Bucks.
And guys, he's not lying. I read the book. He was kind enough to send me a signed copy. It's an excellent book. Got some great lessons in it. I encourage everyone to read it. It's very inspirational. His story in general is inspirational, and I appreciate you letting me pick your brain and continuing to talk with me about football and stuff outside the podcast. And I'm gonna talk about some recruiting nuggets, and then we'll be done with the show, guys. So Saturday, we're expecting a big commitment from top-rated 2028 quarterback Christopher Vargas. All signs pointing to him being a Buckeye. I think this kid is going to be special, and I'm not to take away from Brady Edmonds, who reaffirmed his commitment recently. Just what we're doing in the quarterback room is tremendous. And I just want to get everyone excited for Christopher Vargas because he's supposed to commit on Saturday, and all signs are pointing to it being a Buckeye boom. And guys, join us over at the OHIO podcast for more intel on spring practice at 8 o'clock tonight. And again, thank you for joining me, Jamal, and hope you had a good time. Hopefully, I'll have you on again sometime.
Yes, absolutely, Mika. Thank you again for having me. Go Bucks.
Go Bucks!